Afternoon, good evening, Ashe. Hello, how are you guys? Welcome back to INTV, whereby it's just a pub vlog on a Saturday afternoon. Basically, what I'm going to do is that I'm working on my personal project, but as time goes on, I'll basically explain what is that I'm doing, why I'm doing that. But today we're just creating a project, more like a meeting room project at work, whereby people will be able to book the room, and you should be able to see which one is booked already. There shouldn't be any conflict between people booking one room multiple times for the same slot. So it's just creating that project. But I'll take you step by step in terms of the tech stack that I'm using, the projects that are needed, and why I'm doing but otherwise I'm using those applications or softwares, since I'm more of a C# developer and a full stack. So basically we'll do everything from CIC, from front end, database, back end, and most probably CI/CD. We'll see how we go, or rather how far we get today. Yes. Guys, you see my dream cars? This is one of my dream cars. If you go to one of my videos, you'll see that I did list all of my dream cars, and this is one of them. On my previous videos also, you'd see that I had a BMW M3 Touring as my screensaver. So yeah, they are coming. And of course, we can't forget the coffee, the mother of everything. As always, guys, a snack, I have this cookie, cranberry cookie from Mug and Bean, and I have this muffin here. This one is a banana muffin from Mug and Bean also. So yeah, bon appetit. So while that is still updating, let me just give you an update on my equipment. So I did buy the DJI Mini Mic 2. So this is what I'm going to use from now on for my sound in terms of my content wise. And obviously I did also buy this, the gimbal. So this is my Osmo Mobile 8. Very nice. I've used it a couple of times before I even started shooting content. It's very nice, does really come in handy. So while I'm still waiting for that to update, yeah, here it is. It's off right now. When you open it, or rather when you switch it on, two ways. You can either push this mode button over here, long press, I think for like 4 seconds. But the easiest way to open it is just by doing this. How am I gonna do this now? Bear with me. By doing this, then it will just open and then be ready for use. Obviously it does have 4 modes. I think this is the easiest one, whereby it's just a default, and then if wanna, then this one is whereby you're able to tilt 360, I think, and this one here is whereby you are able, I can't remember some of them, honestly speaking, but yeah. And it does come with this module here. They call it a module, whereby it uses this for tracking your activity. If you move left and right, it will follow you. If you move up and down, it will follow you, which is what which I'm going to do also on this video, but you'll see how it works. So for sound, obviously this is what I'm using. It comes with different skins and stuff like that. So that's how it looks. So 2 mics, has a windscreen. So these things are called windscreen, and obviously receiver. And then plug it inside Type-C. It supports Type-C. Plug inside the phone, then everything is working perfectly and fine. So this is what I'm going to use now from now on for my sound. On the previous videos, I was not using it. I was just using my phone. Even now, hence it's not plugged in. I'm using my phone. But let's see the difference. Let's feel the difference between using your phone and using a DJI Mini Mic 2. So obviously the softwares that I needed. Obviously this is Visual Studio. That's for back end, and then we have Visual Studio Code for front end, and then we have Microsoft SQL Server for database, and obviously we have Claude here who's helping me do my work, and then yeah, so that's what we have. That's what we are using my project to build. So here we have the core, which is where your DTOs or your data transfer objects, that's where they go, and obviously this is where the interfaces go, because we're following solid principles, also architecture. We need to segregate the interfaces. The data layer, this is where everything that has to do with your database goes to. Inside the context, we basically have what we call a DB set. Because we're using entity framework, it will show, rather that will be a direct representation of how your database look. Obviously then we have your repositories, and here we have your either models or entities. All of them are so the two are the same. Either you call them models or you call them entities, just the type of word that you prefer. Then we have common. So here, this is whereby we create one class whereby it has all of those models will have a common object, or a common model, that is. So if all of the models or entities have ID, then we'll just go to common instead of saying room ID, work ID, space ID, and stuff like that. We just create one common model class, and then we inherit that throughout all of the models. And then we have enums. If we have enums are data types that basically that they don't change. If like a constant, let's say if there's a room whereby it's room 304, obviously that room won't change, so we'll probably just take it, or rather create an enum, and it will basically be a constant that will be used throughout the whole project. And then we have data layer. This way your repository service goes, and then your logic. This is where your logic goes. This is whereby you're creating the conditions, you're creating everything that the query. This is where the link goes. This is where the logic in terms of querying for the database, querying the sequence on how the service is going to go. So that's where everything goes. And then we have the API. Obviously, this is where your controls go. That's where your API will go. And then we'll have your app settings. So inside app settings, that's where you'll inject all of your database connection strings and stuff like that. And then we have program CS. This is where obviously you will basically, because we need to have dependency injection, that's where you'll inject all of the repositories, the interfaces that are needed for the project. And then obviously a unit test, so that we can test our work to see if everything is working as expected, or the logic is working as expected. So it's either we follow the techniques in terms of DDD or TDD. I like to use domain-driven design, but obviously using unit test also. So yeah, that's the structure of a clean architecture in terms of how it should look back end. So this is what it should look like. question that's really important that we need to ask is, which one should we create first? Should we create DTOs or should we create models first, or entities? I just create entities first, because entities, or rather more for better word, for sake of clarity, I'll just call them models. So models basically should have everything in terms of like all of the variables that are needed. Basically should have everything. But with DTOs, because that's what they basically DTOs, it's data transfer object. So they transfer the objects from the models to the API. But it doesn't transfer all of the entities or the variables. So I look at DTOs more of a filter in terms of what the API should basically bring. So if you don't want to bring everything into the front end, so DTO does that. So it stands within in the middle and says that, okay, the model has this, but the DTO has this. Let's say that the model has ID, room name, title, start date, start time, end time, and status. But in the front end, we just want to see the room ID, the room ID, the room name, and the title. So that's what the data transfer DTO does that. So we just bring those three instead of bringing every models or other variables that are in the model. So yeah, DTOs are very important. Very, 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 very important. Okay, now because I can see it, then let's use it. Use meeting room, therefore go. Perfect. It's using it, and how you'll see that it's using it by saying meeting room booking DP. Okay. Another thing that I need to fix is this. So I need your help, guys. Please help me. I need your help. So I need to fix this. 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 Yeah. So I need to fix this pool. I think I'll start tomorrow, or rather no, I'll start. First thing I need to do is that I need to run the pump for about 8 hours to see that it does work. Then I need to pour chlorine, which is obviously HTH, and shock and alkaline, but I'll do a proper vlog for that in terms of how to clean a pool. So this is obviously the before, and then obviously then you'll see the after. So yeah, please help me, send help.